Travel along, Catholic pilgrims, as we read letters from the voyages of St. Frances Cabrini as she traveled around the Western Hemisphere sharing the good news of Christ. Hello and welcome, Catholic pilgrims. Are you ready for another trip? This time we are going from Genoa to Buenos Aires. And here we are in the year 1900. Just think back to all Mother Cabrini has done in our time with her. And we are just getting a taste of all her works through her letters. She did so much more than is written down here. As we sail from the Northern Hemisphere to the Southern Hemisphere, we are going back to the mission field Mother Cabrini set up nearly 4 years ago, back in 1896. So let's join her now as she boards the Alphonsus XIII by turning to page 247. Genoa to Buenos Aires, December 1900. 2nd of December, 1900. My dear daughters, may the balsam of the sweetness of the most Sacred Heart of Jesus penetrate into your souls and render you worthy to bear the title of the missionaries of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Nel viaggio novel t'invoco el grido. Nel tua bel cuore qual colomba escosa. De, me guida, o Gesù, pel mare infido. Vado e mi mostra sempre fiduciosa. E tu, mio cara ben, fra piogge e vente, spira a mio cuor, fiamme de amor ardente. Io bramo, il sai, che del tuo cuore il fuoco. L'essier mio si straga a poco, lasciando il fito al tuo sereno sguardo. Nel cuor della mia, vie un dolce dardo. In the new journey I invoke you and cry, in your beautiful heart like a hidden dove, oh, guide me, O Jesus, through the treacherous sea. I go and show myself always confident. In you, my dear Ben, between rains and winds, breathe in my heart burning flames of love. I desire you know that in the fire of your heart my being slowly burns out, leaving in your serene gaze a sweet dart stuck in the hearts of my daughters. It is just a year ago today that I arrived at our house in Milan at midnight after having left Spain, where our foundation was so wonderfully blessed by Jesus in the goodness of his divine heart. It was the vigil of my and our patron, St. Frances Xavier, and the next day, as you can imagine, there was a great feast, a true family feast. Tomorrow will also be the beautiful feast of the great apostle of India, but none of you, my beloved daughters, will be able to keep the day with me. Only the somewhat muffled roar of the waves will typify the echo of your prayers, which, said with such filial affection, will surely reach the mystical staircase which leads to the throne of the Most High. The good God, moved by your supplications, will send a choir of angels to guide this beautiful boat, Alphonsus XIII, on which I happen to be traveling for the first time, and I have firm hopes that, after a prosperous voyage, we shall arrive safe and sound in the port of Buenos Aires, where our dear sisters have been awaiting us for such a long time. I embarked with Sister Anna and Sister Michelina at Genoa on the 30th of November of this dear holy year, 1900. On the morning of that day, there was a great rush, as the Spanish Transatlantic Company notified us, through the kindness of Monsignor Romero, titular Bishop of Yasso, that they would sail at 11 a.m. The Archbishop of Genoa, having so kindly favored us by celebrating Mass, gave us his heartfelt blessing and withdrew in order to allow us time to finish our final preparations for the voyage. At 11:15, accompanied by a good number of sisters and children, we arrived at the port. Hiring some boats, we reached the Alphonsus XIII, which was some distance up the bay, and almost on the point of sailing, as we thought. We ascended the gangway, one after the other, and on entering the salon, found his lordship, Bishop Romero, who, having returned from Rome after a pilgrimage which he had led, had hurried to get on board in order to arrange 3 places for us. He received us just as a father would. Our pupils took possession of the piano at once and gave an improvised reception in honor of the bishop and the good captain. It was a pleasant surprise to both and put all the passengers, who had the pleasure of assisting at the short entertainment, in good humor. But 11 a.m. came very soon. In fact, it was nearly 12 a.m. when the sound of the cannon off the fort of Genoa was heard. So, with the thought of a speedy departure, I bade goodbye to the children and sisters, who reluctantly descended the gangway to go into their boats. The waving of handkerchiefs was very brief, as in the midst of the vessels that always lie in the port of Genoa, they soon disappeared out of sight. We were all called to table, and we feared that once away from the table we should feel the effects of the boat rocking, but the vessel was still immovable, being secured by immense anchors. We took advantage of these moments to put our cabins in order, but about 4 p.m. we asked why the boat had not set sail, and were told, to our great surprise, that not until the dawn of the next day would they raise anchor, as, owing to the bad weather, the men had not been able to work during the night, and so the cargo was not complete. I at once made up my mind to send a dispatch to our house in Genoa, notifying them of our delay, and had hardly taken up my pen when I perceived Mother Augustine and Mother Lucia, who, having gone to the USA agency to arrange for the prospective voyage of the sisters, heard we were still in port. It was quite a wonder that they did not try to walk the waters to see us again. After having exchanged joyous feelings, I asked the sisters to go and fetch the Reverend Mothers of the convents of Codogno and Rome, and with the best of wills they went, only too happy to share their pleasure with the community. Shortly after, Mother Augustine with the 2 superiors appeared. The captain, moved by the affection of the daughters for their mother, said they could remain all night. The sisters did not need to be asked twice, and so, though they will never have a mission outside Italy, they passed at least a night on board ship. The consolation we experienced at being reunited that night, when to all intents and purposes we should have been separated, you may imagine better than I can describe. That's all for today, Catholic Pilgrims. Tomorrow, Mother Cabrini is excited to celebrate the feast day of her namesake, St. Francis Xavier. But until then, live the faith boldly and travel well.